Thanks for tuning in. This is A.D.D. This is the Apex Drift Division podcast. We're going to just talk about our experiences in the drift community and around the shop, building cars, things like that. I'm Mike. This is Paige. She's our detailer, photographer, and social media manager. I think the best way to start off is let's just jump right into where we are on the drift season so far. We're 3 events in. I think it's going pretty well. NCM was a really hard track for me to learn. I was battling a lot with the car and lack of knowledge of where I need my tire pressure.
I mean, that was your first time at the track.
No, for sure. I mean,
that was a great experience too.
No, it was. It was a great learning experience. I mean, my first 3 runs, I had the tires at 16 psi on one side and 30 at the other because I was in such a rush to get the car ready for
yeah, because like in the third run, didn't you say you're like, I figured out what the problem was? And I said, what? You said the tire pressure. I was like,
okay. Yeah. After like the third run, the car was just so gripped up, I took it back, and it was just one side was at 16 psi and the other side was at 32 because the night prior I was just trying to get everything ready, and I forgot to set tire pressure, and then I immediately had to get the car off the trailer because
we were slow rolling that morning.
Yeah, we were. And as soon as I got there and did the driver's meeting, Mary was like, "All right, we're gonna go run the track, and I'm gonna show you this. So go get your car off the track."
Pulled up right in time.
Yeah, we did. It was a fun drive there though, and the track's amazing. It's an amazing track. I can't wait to go back.
It got some really good footage.
Yeah.
Dude, I got a picture that says wide load.
Nice. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love the track. The track itself was great.
So, like, when you were let's talk about your first 3 runs.
Okay.
How did you feel going onto the track?
As somebody new to the drifting community, it was a little intimidating. That downhill was a little intimidating because the only downhill I've done so far is Clarksville. NSS has a downhill too. I feel like Clarksville's a little bit steeper of a grade than NSS, and then NCM kind of trumped all that. That was like a blind downhill was a little bit intimidating. But after I got a few runs in, I started getting out, fixed my tire pressure.
Yeah.
I figured 40 psi would be enough, but because I normally run my Kendas at 23 to 26.
So how does it feel going up that hill? Because I feel like I know Clarksville has a go uphill, but I feel like the NCM track is like a little bit deeper. Like just it digs up. You gotta go.
No, it really does. It's a steeper grade for sure. Downhill and uphill are both steeper, and you have to be at a certain point on the track. Like if you mess up the downhill, the transition at the bottom of the downhill, then your uphill ride is just not where it needs to be, from what I noticed. I will say, once I finally got more tire pressure in the car and was able to actually get wheel spin, the car felt better uphill. But I personally, I still had to clutch kick uphill 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And I think instead of running 40 psi, I really needed to be at like 55 or 60 psi on the tires because it was still gripped up most of the track. So I was having to work the car more than what I should have. Yeah, I mean, once I figured out the track and got my tire pressure where I thought it needed to be, the uphill was way better. I still had to clutch kick it a bunch, like 2 or 3 times uphill just to keep it going. So I was still, what I felt was pretty gripped up, and I was having to work the car harder than what I should have, than what I felt on other tracks. And I do think that a failing clutch, and I think the tire pressure should have been higher. 55 or 60 would have done me better.
Okay.
I love the entry point at that track. The third gear entry, 65, 70 miles an hour. I would have preferred to have a handbrake.
What was your fastest entry?
75.
Okay.
Was the fastest entry that looking at my speedometer and then entering.
So do you think you need to get like a more horsepower, or do you think that you can still run with the same?
No, I think I would have done fine on that track with the correct tire pressure, and a handbrake would have been nice. My handbrake, a functional handbrake. My handbrake wasn't working that day, so it was a whole lot of left foot braking, clutch kicking, and
a lot of footwork.
A lot of footwork. I loved it though. It was a great track. I can't wait to go back.
I mean, that's how I was with the Lexus, so a lot of footwork. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like from the photography side? like getting your
It
angles
was a
and
little, not gonna lie, it was a little difficult because I've never been to that track before. That was like the first time I've ever been there. So like I didn't know my points. Like I didn't know. I obviously knew where the entryway was, but like there was no open way. There was trees that was in like in parts of the way. So like I was trying to get less trees, more of the car, more of the track.
yeah.
Um, but I definitely learned while looking through all these photos because it took me a long time because I took about like 50, over 50, almost 1,500 photos. So I've learned from my mistake is that like I'm gonna have to zoom in more. Oh, that was so bad. So it was really hard to find out what points to hit. Obviously, I knew where the entryway was, but like trying to not get like where the trees go into the track because you have an open area coming in, which would have looked really good. But if I knew where to stand from the rails, obviously I knew where the entryway was. But it was more of like finding where on our side where to go to where I don't have to get, all the trees, all the blocks, all the poles. So that was a learning experience. But like going around to where I couldn't get to the where y'all went down the hill and went up. I would have loved to get that, but there was so many people standing over there and I was shy. So like I didn't go over there to kind of like make my way, which is weird because at Cars and Coffee I'm not shy, but like at events, like I just don't want to be in people's way because maybe other people are taking pictures. But I mean, more of, it's more of like where to stand from our point because the caution tape I did go underneath a couple times just to get where y'all came up.
Are you talking about like the uphill part?
No, I'm talking about where you go the downhill and then it goes like, yeah, most likely where the uphill where where it comes around like turn 3. Well, 1, yeah, 2. No, so turn 3 going into turn.
Are you talking about like
Dang, cut all that out.
no, you're fine. All right, so
So
when
like,
you're talking about uphill, you're talking about right past the uphill where it turns into the S curves.
yes.
Okay.
So like the second transition. So then, yes, so the second transition where you go down the hill and then you go up. That's where I was trying to get, but that rail was just in the way. So like, I feel like once if I've been there now, like now I know to go different spots and like not go the same spots that I did. And if I do, I need to go in a little bit more, zoom in a little bit more to get just the car because I have nothing but like just the car and the sky and the track.
That's fair.
So I mean, I want to get more speed. I want to get more, but like I want to get more speed and more traction, more, dirt, everything.
So you want to get more of the like the gritty photos. I love that. I like where you're going with the photography. It looks great. That last Clarksville event, the downhill where you had the exit now sign in it, looked phenomenal. I love those photos.
Thank you.
You made everybody's car look great.
Like I didn't even edit those photos, and I really like the cloud. Like that weather kind of really did it, the cloudiness and everything. But it was more of Jolie. She helped me with the settings. Once the settings kicked in, you saw it. So like,
oh yeah, it was a huge
it
difference.
was a huge difference. So I mean, as I go to every event, I learn something new every single time talking to these people. And then like the drift community has been nothing but nice, and it's like very welcoming. I mean, you're very. Oh, that was not the way that I wanted to open that.
Jump back into it.
Okay. So like the drift community has been nothing but opening and they have been very nice. And I'm shy, so I'm trying to learn how to get out of that. You've been a very big help with that because you don't ever let me say when I say no, like don't ever let me tell you no. So I mean, I'm trying to get out there and talk to people and try not to, feel like awkwardness of taking people's pictures. But I'm glad that y'all like the pictures because that's my biggest worry. Is like
that's fair. I mean, like I said, I think you're doing great with it. And as far as like the community goes, it's been so open and welcome compared to like I remember going to like Cars and Coffee or like even drift events before I got a drift car and I was actually a driver. I would go through. I wouldn't really talk to many people, and I was pretty standoffish. And jumping into the drift community and all that stuff kind of helped me too open up as an individual and approach people and talk about cars more or talk about drifting or anything in general. So I feel like
yeah, they give you a helping hand too. Like if you ever need anything
yeah, no,
out
for
there in
sure.
the pits, like everybody's so nice. Everybody's so well, like they're like, oh yeah, you need this. Oh, we got it. So it's like it's very nice.
No, it is. I feel like my car. I'd say I've done. I did half of last season and the beginning of this season so far, and my car. What would you say? My car probably had some type of issue 90% of those events. Like there was something that happened.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but it wasn't anything big though. It was nothing like that crucial. I mean, it was just leakage or a part was, just one part was either malfunctioning or I don't even know how to say that word.
No, you're fine. It was always something small. Thankfully, so far. Like, I mean, I was battling those oil pressure sensors for a little bit.
You would have to let it cool down.
Yeah, I was battling the overheating at the NCM event. The tie rod turned into an S instead of straight.
Well,
So
then you also learned over the times too of which tires that you like what
yeah.
type of tires. Like that was something that you would have to go through too, because you like the Kendas.
So far, I really like the Kendas. The Firehawks, the Firestone Firehawks, have been a really cheap option. They're cheaper than the Kendas, and smoke production's great. I can get a good, depending on the track I'm at, I can get a good 15 laps out of them roughly.
Okay, so speaking of tracks, how many have we gone to?
We've been to NSS, Clarksville, NCM, um, Bowling Green. I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's it so far.
we have more to come, by the way.
Yeah,
We're
no.
trying to go to a lot more other ones.
We're going to Atlanta this year for IA. I really want to do a mid pond event this year. I'd like to do a polecat event. And I'd really like to. I know there's that Gymkhana competition for at OSS this year that I signed up for. I don't know. I haven't heard much about it after the sign up, but that was about it. We'll see how it goes. But that's another track I'd like to go out to is
So
out in
out of the
Florida.
4 months that you've had, like, what's the rating?
As far as like which ones I like the most, the least, Clarksville's tried and true. That's where I started at. I love that track. It it's definitely a very simple layout, and the track's a little what's the word I'm looking for here? The track's definitely a little rough with it, like where it's been ran like it has in the figure eight platform for so long. There's a lot of dips in the middle, so if you come in shallow, um, it'll tear some stuff up. But other than that, it's a fun track.
Those are great tracks to start, like beginner tracks.
If you want like a chill drift day and you just want to go out, hang out with friends, there's no pressure, everybody's just there to have a good time. Clarksville all day long. Tyler makes it really fun, especially when he puts on the short shorts and the horse mask. It's just the best. It's the best time. Bowling Green would be so first favorite would have to be Bowling Green. I love that track. It's just an open skid pad, but you can get proximity on the walls. It's a great track to tandem. My second favorite would be Clarksville, just because it's so grassroots friendly. And that's what I am. I'm a grassroots drifter. I'm just getting used to it. I'm still learning transitions. I'm still learning tandems. I'm learning when I should throttle, when I shouldn't throttle, stuff like that. So I feel like when it comes down to tracks, Clarksville is definitely my second favorite just because of how welcoming it is. The community is amazing there. Everybody that goes there is just there to have a good time. My third would be a toss up between the NCM and no, it wouldn't even be a toss up. NCM is probably my third favorite. NSS is my least favorite just because to me it feels like a really awkward track. I mean that course was made for autocross, but it doesn't even really feel like it's good for autocross. But I love the track. It's a really clean layout, like the way the pavement is. It's real clean and easy to drift as far as the texture of the track. But the layout itself, I'm not a huge fan of. And so yeah, I would think NSS is out of the ones that I've been to, NSS is my least
Yeah.
favorite. So it would go Bowling Green, Clarksville, NCM NSS.
I would agree on the Bowling Green because that was my first one. That was my first. No, NSS was my very first track, but Bowling Green was my very first chill track. Like,
Yeah.
I actually went out there, even though like I was driving in circles. It's okay. Like, I mean, it wasn't so scary. Like when you're before you get into the driver's seat, like if you've never done it before, like
Mm-hmm.
you get the adrenaline. Like you talk yourself up about like, oh, it's so scary. Like, there's so many people watching. Like, what if you stall out? They don't care.
No.
They've done it before. They've been there, done that. But it's like once you get into that seat, I feel like all that goes away because first of all, I'm worried about me.
That's fair.
But it's more of because like they're not my cars, but it's so chill and it's a different type of feeling once you get up to the start of that line. And then you talk to either Tyler, but mine was Scotty. Wasn't Scotty?
Scotty D, yeah.
And
you're referring to the last drift event of last season, right? The Scotty D event out at yeah.
So like, and I mean, and I've never driven on that track. That was I think that year. I think that was my second or third time being at that track. So like, I've just been to Clarksville, so I know that one for a fact. But the Bowling Green, it was just once you get up to that line, and then he tells you like, "What are you?" Like, I mean, like, are you new? Like, and I was in the wrong line. I was in the tandem line for the first time, and I did not know that I was in the wrong lane. But he was cool with it. He was like, just keep an eye on me and let me know whenever I'll let you know whenever you're done. So I mean, I did what I could, and even though I should have given it more throttle, but it's okay. But that was the very first time I went out there, and I wasn't terrified. I think I was more terrified at NSS than I was at Bowling Green because it was just more of an open area, and I didn't know at that point I didn't know how to go any faster than second gear.
Yeah.
So like, it's just.
That was the Slide Factory event in NSS where they had the beginner pit where they were having people drift around.
Because I did your car, and then I sat in the Miata, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna go drive it around and just whatever and shoot the shit. And you're like, you gave me my helmet. You said go on the track. I'm like, wait, no. You're like, go on the track.
Hey, but you did it though. You know,
I know,
that's what.
and I did it, and like it was a fun experience. It definitely was.
That's fair.
And I mean, I pretty much drove it like I stole it. 'Cause I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I mean, I just know I went up to third gear and then I slowed down a little bit. I tried to get it go sideways, but even though that Miata didn't have any power.
No, that Miata doesn't. No. I mean, that Miata is like, I think combined total out of me, Nick, and everybody, we're like $600 into that Miata. So that's why we don't mind people jumping at it and just go have fun.
Well, I mean, but he's getting it up and running into this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I can get redemption. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, maybe you can jump out there and slide it down the Clarksville track. That'll be fun.
Maybe. We'll see how it goes.
That'll be fun. I can totally relate to so my very first drift event ever was at Clarksville. And I also jumped. I was in the tandem line. I missed the driver's meeting, so I showed up late. I just showed up, got everything unloaded, and jumped in line, and I was in the tandem line. So, oh, you're fun. So no, I can totally relate to that. And then like the pressure that I don't know if everybody feels that way, but when you're very new to it and it's a little intimidating at first, right? So you're in line, you're waiting for your turn, and you see people down there with cameras or just spectating, and you're like, I don't want to go out there and fuck up. I don't want to go spin out. And
because I mean, my initial thought is to like hit the wall, but not like hit it, but like grace the wall at least.
Yeah, everybody wants to do that.
Do is swing wide, but at the same time, it's like how wide?
Yeah,
you can't go that wide.
Well, that's like for like your first like getting the initial hang of the car is like it's always best to stay like super shallow, stay away from the walls, be safe with it. Don't go cramming the car into a wall for no reason. I don't know. For me, the only thing that helped me in the beginning with going out in front of the crowd was the old experiences that I had with training jiu-jitsu and cage fighting and stuff and competing. Is I'd already been in front of crowds of people, so I kind of relate that to jumping out and drifting. Is like, yeah, there's people watching, but that's not the main focus right now.
Yeah.
So all that kind of goes away, and that's one thing that I loved about the sport. Same thing I loved with like cage fighting or jiu-jitsu competitions was when the moment comes, everything else fades away. Like there is no crowd. There is like, for instance, when you're in line and somebody tells you, "All right, go, it's your turn," and you start driving, you don't think about the people watching. Yeah, everything else fades away, and you're in the moment, and that's what I find beautiful about it.
That's what I felt. Yeah, I feel that. No, that's how I felt in NSS. Like when Ryan told me to go, and I was like, "Oh, bye back." When he told me to go, I was like, "Oh no." So I took off, and I took off very slowly. But yeah, like once you don't even think about the crowd. The people kind of just go away, and it's more of just you, the car, and the track. Like depending on how fast you want to go, like that's all it is, and just the moment goes away. It's everything, you know.
Yeah, everything else is gone in that moment. I mean, fuck. Even like down to, at least for me, even down to like the pressure of running my own business or like, family, kids, the stress, the normal stress of life, that everything goes away. I think that's why so many people enjoy drifting, is because in the moment, everything else is gone and it's 100% fun. You're not worried about anything else in that moment. And I think that's what grabs people. Obviously, easily distracted by burnouts, right?
Yeah.
Like a car starts spinning tires, you start drifting, everything else, everybody's like, "Oh my god!" It just draws people in. So when you're in the car doing it, it's like even better than just sitting there watching it. So that's why I always advocate to my friends, like, go get a drift car. Go get a drift car, go out there, have fun. It's the best fun. It's the most fun you're gonna have.
I
So
feel like that's why we're starting us to whole build up your training car because
yeah,
nobody has to have an excuse that you don't have a good car. There's a good car right here.
that's the whole purpose of the 240, is just to get it drift ready, as cheap as I can, so I can put. If you don't have a drift car, cool. Jump in the spare drift car.
Because I mean, you always want to know, like you always want to get that experience before you actually get fully invested.
Of course.
Into getting a car, getting a shell, getting a transmission, getting all the parts, getting the angle kit. Like before you get all the stuff, to just actually get it on the track.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, take somebody's training car. Like, I mean, I know not a lot of people have that option, but if somebody has like another training car, another drift car, just to get your foot in the, just to get yourself onto the track, just to get the experience and to get yourself out there, like just go. Like you'll never know. And I feel like if you don't go out there, you'll regret it because I mean it is once in a lifetime experience. And
for sure.
I mean, if you don't go, you'll never know. Like I mean, you're just gonna have that thought of what if. So
no, that's so true. That's so true, and that's why I want the 240 to be up to the, that's the whole reason of the whole purpose of getting it, is that way. A drift car is not cheap. I mean, you can make it as cheap as you. Let me rephrase that. You can have a cheap drift car, and you can go out and still have fun. But a lot of people don't want to put the investment into even starting something like that until they've actually done it.
yeah.
And that's why I want this car to be just something somebody can go jump in, try it out, and then once they like it, which I mean, come on, who doesn't? Then they can go take that financial decision upon themselves and be like, yeah, I want a drift car. I'm going to start doing this. And that's the whole purpose of the loaner drift car, is to let people get a chance to drive a drift car and make the decision on themselves. Like, cool, I really enjoy this, and I want to now make the purchase of going to buy a car and getting it drift ready and taking on the track. Yeah, any way that I can get more people into the community, because I feel like, I don't know, it's just not as big as I want it to be. I feel like the community could be so much bigger. I want everybody to be a part of it, I guess, just because I love it so much. So, I mean, that being said, with the training car, we still have a lot of future plans for Apex and what we're doing here at the shop, as far as like not even just drifting, but we just picked up that RX-8 that we're going to do a YouTube channel on the teardown process, taking the motor apart, and I believe the direction that I want to go on it is going to be a hybrid between the Renesis and the 13B. But that's just going to be another drift car, We got the 240. You're getting the detailing going. Then you're going to be. And what do you, other than detailing, what do you want to try to focus on outside of that, out of photography and the detailing of the business?
What I want to do is just basically, pretty much learn what it is to work on a car. Just I know how to do the changing the oil and everything, but it's just like more of the engine. Like I just need it to be more explained to me.
No, that's fair.
I mean, I can read a book so much, but I'm more of a hands-on person. So I mean, I don't mind getting dirty and just turning wrenches and learning what part does what and like.
That's fair.
But with detailing, I want to do detailing and like this, I'm gonna do detailing, and I want to later down the road try to get to do wrapping. Like I have a project for side skirts, and I mean that's gonna be my first project on wrapping, and it's not gonna be perfect, but practice makes perfect, right? So
practice makes perfect every time.
I'll do that wrapping, and then once I get good at that, then I can do tinting, and I mean there's so much more that I want to do, but I'm sure I'll change later down the road just to like add on more. But for right now, it's just detailing photography. I want to do a little bit of wrapping, but a little bit of here, a little there.
That's fair. I love the whole process. I love the direction that we're going. I mean, this shop was a dream of mine, and I'm loving every step of the way. I'm meeting new people. I mean, this is how I met you. This is how I've met so many other great people, and building this up to be what I want it to be is been a phenomenal process, and I can't wait to see what it brings in the future. Bringing you on with the detailing and soon wrapping and maybe tinting and stuff like that, and then getting you in here and here you are getting to experience more hands-on with car mechanics, like learning how an engine works or suspension and stuff like that.
Because I want to eventually build my own drift car.
So yeah, no, for sure.
This is how like I can watch so many videos on YouTube videos on how to build your car, but it's just like hands-on learning and just go work in a shop. Just go, go work with some friends, go build in a car, just go and build cars. We build cars to break cars.
We build cars to break cars.
So I mean, if you break it, you build it. So.
It's a repeatable process, especially what I found out with drifting. I thought that car was going to be really solid until I took it out on a track and beat the crap out of it, and it's been solid. Granted, I've only had small issues. I thought the motor was going to blow by now, especially after that IA Bowling Green event where I did like a 5 minute on over. Like I was trying to blow the motor so I can have a reason to put an LS in it.
I think it was like what, an hour intervention that you couldn't move the car because it was overheated. Like, but then you changed the tires and you went back out for like what, 2 more runs. Like the very last run was like for like.
It was a solid 5 minute run, and the car was hot the whole time. It was pegged hot the whole time. I was trying to blow that motor so I would have a reason to put an LS in it, and it just won't blow. And I've got that deal going with Nick. I've got 7 more events to go before he wins. So if that motor can last 7 more events without popping, then he's won our bet. And
well, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So maybe not give it so much hell, but still go out and have fun.
No. I want it to blow. He wins if that engine lasts 7 more events, then he wins. So I'm gonna keep beating the crap out of it, and we'll see what it does. And if it lasts after that, then that's the direction I'll go with. I mean, I've got the 5.3 in there that's gonna go for the 240, and the 6.2 is supposed to go in the Z. But if that motor lasts and I pull it out, I'll probably just end up doing a VQ swap for the 240, just because I mean the motor's good. I mean it just keeps running. I can beat the crap out of it and it just keeps going, as long as I keep oil in it.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. As long as I keep oil in it, I've had. Lube her up, she'll be all right. Yeah. Well, I mean that's our first podcast. So that being said, man, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for dealing with all the awkwardness. We're new to this. There's going to be a whole lot of edits in this video. I'm awkward. She's awkward. So, yeah, hopefully this gets easier as time goes, but we'll see. You got anything else you want to add? Nope. Weird guys, I guess. Stay weird. Only weirdos.
This is what Tia and I were trying to say.
Only weirdos. Oh, before we cut the video, oh my God, what great people that we've met. Like Jolie's amazing with the Skids magazine. Dave,
she's so sweet. She's such a great person.
She really is.
Once you see her walk up to you, like, whoa. It's such a, she just puts a smile on her face.
She really does. I cannot wait to put her in the car and have her ride along. I know I'm not the best driver out there, but just, she smiles so much. It's so great. Dave, oh my God, Dave has been the biggest supporter. He's so awesome. And Tia she has such great ideas. She's been such
great energy.
Yeah, she's been such a great person to be around. I can't wait to see what we all work out in the future.
I'm so excited.
Same.